As regulators, we must be mindful not only of what we do, but how we do it. Our shared vision of the CFTC is to be the global standard for sound derivatives regulation. Soundness is built on transparency. Public input and dialogue help us serve our markets. We owe it to those who rely on our derivatives markets to regulate in the open. I've long thought that the CFTC is the most important regulator most Americans have never heard of. We're working to change that. By the end of next week, we will have held, this commission, all 5 of us, 6 open meetings in the last few months of 2019. That's the same number of open meetings the commission held during 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018 combined. With the help of my fellow commissioners, and it is a lot of work, as well as the staff, I intend to continue this trend of open meetings in 2020. While transparency is important for all regulators, it's especially critical for us. The Dodd-Frank Act gave us jurisdiction over the $400 trillion notional swaps market. That's a humbling level of responsibility, and it demands we give the public visibility into what we're doing. We simply won't regulate from behind a curtain. Reaffirming the value of transparency is therefore vital. In 2010, this agency faced immense pressures in the wake of the Dodd-Frank Act, and the need to, quote, get things done didn't always lead to getting them done in the right way. Some have criticized the CFTC for stumbling in its commitment to transparency earlier in this decade. The agency from time to time used staff no-action letters, policy statements, and enforcement actions rather than notice and comment rulemakings. While our predecessors on the Commission surely didn't make opacity the goal, it was sometimes the result. As we approach 2020 and beyond, I'm pleased to announce the CFTC will triple down on transparency by focusing on 3 areas. Number 1, how we make regulations. Number 2, how we apply them. And number 3, how we enforce them. The first area is transparency in rulemaking. We'll reaffirm the importance of notice and comment rulemaking under the APA. Today, as I mentioned, the Commission's voting on amendments to Part 13 of our regulations. The amendments will clarify how we receive, process, and respond to petitions for rulemaking. Part 13 also retains Section 13.2, which permits any person from the public to petition the Commission for a rulemaking. Now, that's actually a unique feature of the CFTC framework that reinforces transparency and the public's ability to participate. More importantly, we'll publish those petitions from the public for rulemakings on our website. That will further encourage public engagement with our rulemaking process. Because of the help of my fellow commissioners and our staff, we're also going to be publishing a summary of our rulemaking process on our website, written in plain English so everybody understands it. The second area is transparency in staff and other types of relief. In other words, how we apply our rules. Wherever possible, we should regulate with public notice and comment rulemakings. Staff relief should be a supplement, not a substitute for APA rulemakings. Today, I'm pleased to announce that the CFTC is finalizing guidance to ensure staff no action, interpretive, and exemptive relief letters are limited to appropriate situations. Examples will include unique circumstances that don't give rise or are not suitable for a general rulemaking, or only where temporary relief is contemplated. We must also increase transparency even where staff relief is appropriate. Today, I'm also announcing that as of January 1, 2020, the CFTC will publish all requests for staff relief on our website when our staff grants that relief. This harmonizes our approach with that of the other federal financial regulators, and it also provides greater public visibility into the issues before us. The third and final area of transparency is in enforcement actions. We've got to be transparent in how we enforce the law. A key goal of enforcement is to deter misconduct before it happens. Deterrence requires clarity about how our laws work. Long gone are the days when kings posted edicts high on columns to make the law harder to read and easier to violate. Our founders instead adopted a system in which the law is king. And it's been said that in our American system, the rule of law is the law of rules. As a result, our Enforcement Division will soon be providing an updated enforcement manual. This will inform the public of a number of changes designed to increase transparency. In addition, the Commission and its staff must be able to speak publicly about enforcement matters. Beginning on January 1, 2020, I will not present this Commission with any proposed settlement that restricts the Commission or our staff from publicly stating their views. Affirming this right to speak ensures the CFTC can inform the public about our enforcement priorities. It also advances customer protection. The facts of past cases can serve as early warning signs of new types of fraudulent and manipulative activity. But genuine transparency in the enforcement area can't be one-sided. Just as the Commission should be able to speak freely about enforcement actions, so too should defendants. Also beginning on January 1, I won't put before the Commission any settlement agreement that unduly restricts a defendant's ability to speak publicly. While we'll still expect defendants not to deny facts or statements that both they and the CFTC have agreed on, we won't stand in the way of comments or criticism. This approach is good for both transparency and accountability. Defendants can speak freely, but they also can't avoid tough questions by hiding behind settlement language. Transparency is sometimes avoided, particularly here in Washington, because it opens the door to criticism. But as Aristotle reminds us, criticism is something we can avoid easily by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. Well, that's never been the path of the CFTC during our nearly 45 years of regulating the U.S. derivatives markets, nor will it ever be. Just as we won't shrink from calling out wrongdoing, so too will the public have insight into what we're doing. Criticism isn't always pleasant, but it's a core facet of democracy. This Commission is an agency of the United States government. The CFTC should be scrutinized when we act. In 1787, Benjamin Franklin was leaving Independence Hall in Philadelphia at the close of the Constitutional Convention. As the story goes, a woman came up to him and asked, "Dr. Franklin, what kind of government will we have?" He answered, "A republic, if you can keep it." Rest assured, our Commission will do its part. Thank you very much.